if I as a passenger, and this lady is a passenger, and these gentlemen as a passenger, and all of these people as passengers here, and you as a representative at the Frontier Customer Service Center are telling me and all these passengers that we can't have any kind of a hotel reimbursed or paid for on our behalf, when it was your company that was at fault for having absolutely no ability to get us to our destination on time. That's not my fault. That's not these customers' fault.
Oh boy. Ouch. This video is interesting. I thought I would share with you what happened to me. I was an incredibly frustrated and disgruntled passenger with Frontier. Flew with Frontier this past week. Had an absolutely awful experience. Wow. I don't even know what to say, really. I'm glad I recorded everything. You're about to see some pretty harrowing stuff involving multiple law enforcement officers, a gut-wrenching instance with a lady that I felt absolutely awful for. That poor gal. I don't know how some of the customer service representatives at Frontier treat the people the way they do. It's crazy. Anyway, this is that story. I recorded a lot of it. Let's have some fun. Here we go.
It will become abundantly clear why Frontier is the worst airline in the United States. Forbes said that the worst airline on the list was Frontier Airlines, which had a score of just 30.42. Quote, Frontier has the highest share of canceled flights and the largest number of involuntary denied boardings. Additionally, the airline has the highest number of aviation incidents and accidents per total number of flight operations. End quote. So as you'll see here in great detail and graphic detail in the following video, Forbes is a pretty reputable news agency, very well and accurately suggests that Frontier is the bottom of the pile.
Alright, so it all started when I purchased a ticket to fly from San Diego to Dulles Airport near Washington, D.C. on Tuesday the 29th of October. And I chose to fly at 11:01 a.m. in the morning. That's my departure time from San Diego. And it was not a straight shot. It was a connection in Denver and then follow on about 9 p.m. into Dulles. So that's how all of this started with my first ticket purchase.
All right, so it all began with this ticket right here. I'm departing on October 29th, 2019 from San Diego Airport at 11:01 a.m., getting into Denver there, 2:32 local time, that's Mountain. Taking off about an hour and 13 minutes later at 3:45, and then finally getting into IAD, that's Dulles, later that evening. So the day before I take off, they say, hey, it's time to check in. I got a reminder on my email, still saying the same, flights 550 and 454 going to Dulles ultimately. Then I got my first warning, first shot across the bow here, as they said, hey, you're not leaving at 11:01 anymore. You're now going to be leaving at 1:11. Flight's been delayed. And they put in there that delay circumstances can change quickly, oftentimes improving, which is just a bunch of bullcrap, and they know it, so I don't know why they put it in there. And then I got yet another update, as they said, now it's no longer 1:11, it's 2:46 p.m., so you're now taking off 2 hours, 3 hours, and 45 minutes later, almost 4 hours later than I had originally planned.
So I had a conversation with the gate agent there with Frontier, and I said, what in the world's going on? They informed me that there was a massive snowstorm on that day in Denver, and that something like more than 1,000 flights had been canceled that day. And so that's why my flight was indeed canceled coming from San Diego to Denver, because there was no follow-on flight going out of Denver to Dulles. So then tried to get on standby for the next day, that Wednesday, the 30th. Was unable to do that. They ultimately rescheduled me for Thursday to retry again and get me out of San Diego to go back to Dulles.
So I got my next ticket going out Thursday the 31st, pretty much the same time, 11:01 a.m., getting into Denver at 3:52 and then flying out to get in sometime after 9 into Dulles, which is pretty much what I had on Tuesday, just to rehash now for a Thursday. So then Wednesday, the day before, they let me know, hey, it's time to check in. And lo and behold, again, my flight has been delayed, coming out of San Diego more than an hour. But this is no surprise, after all. This is Frontier, folks. Should not be a surprise.
Now remember, I only had an hour and 20-minute layover on that Thursday flight, the 31st, coming from San Diego to Denver and then going on to Dulles. There was kind of a bit of a tight spot there, and it was already delayed an hour and 6 minutes from 11:01 to 12:07. So we're already cutting into that window really tight there. So we actually boarded that plane on Thursday, and we sat on that plane for over an hour until we were all deboarded. They told us all to get off. There was a paperwork issue and it wasn't going to be resolved in a timely fashion. They debagged the entire plane, and I had to go out to the front baggage terminal area, grab my bag off of Carousel 3, and go speak with a Frontier gate agent, or ticket agent there at the front again, to schedule for another flight, since they couldn't get me out Tuesday, and they couldn't get me on standby on Wednesday, and they couldn't get me out again on Thursday, and had to deplane and debag the whole plane and get everybody off and just reschedule. It's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So I'm super frustrated at this time. So hey, let's try again. One more day. Let's shoot for Friday, baby. Maybe they'll get me out on Friday the 1st. Maybe. Just maybe.
So Friday's flight was a little bit different. It was about a half hour later. 11:28 was the original scheduled flight time. But sure enough, on Friday, I got another delay notification. The new departure time is 1:45 p.m. Surprise, surprise. Frontier can't get us out on time. And so the reason that our flight was so delayed on Friday, after being delayed on Thursday and not getting standby on Wednesday and not getting out on Tuesday, was that the plane that we were going to come on was coming from Austin to San Diego. So it was coming first on an earlier flight from Austin, Texas to San Diego. And it departed, let's see here, arrived 1 hour and 47 minutes late. So whatever the case may be, it got to us in San Diego an hour and 47 minutes after it was supposed to get there. Well, remember, I only had an hour and 20 minute. Oh, correction. No, Fridays was an hour and 40. So I had an hour and 40 minute layover, but the plane arrived an hour and 47 minutes late. Let's think. Do we think that Brennan actually was able to get out from San Diego to Denver and then make his connection from Denver into Dulles? Oh no, I wasn't. Oh, that's because the plane coming in was so late. In part, you'll notice here, it arrived at 12:25 p.m. Note that time, 12:25 p.m. The plane that was supposed to carry us to Denver arrived. But wait, you ask why we didn't take off from San Diego until basically 2 o'clock, 1:59 p.m. if the other plane got in at 12:25? Well, let me tell you, my friends, we all got on board the plane pretty quickly. The overhead monitor had set a boarding time and takeoff around 12:57. We were pretty close. I got on the plane at about 12:58, so it wasn't too far after that. But we sat there for over an hour. Why? Because there was an oil issue on the plane. The pilot said an engineer had to be called on board to correct it. We had to switch over to ground air conditioning, which didn't work very well. Everyone was turning on their air conditioning, the little overhead fan thingamajig, and it didn't work at all. And at the end of the day, we just sat there for another hour because some oil issue was involved. An engineer had to get on, and the pilot mentioned that the paperwork would be the absolute longest part of this. He told us it was 10 minutes, and then it was 20 minutes, and then it wound up being an hour. And ultimately, we took off way late than our originally scheduled departure time at 11:28, and instead took off at 2 p.m. Oh boy. But wait, there's even more. Notice the arrival time into Denver, 5:13 p.m. Ooh, 5:13 p.m. That's an interesting time that we got into Denver. And that's because the flight to Dulles took off at 5:14. Oh my gosh! We were so freaking close to making that flight. Ladies and gentlemen, we literally got in 1 minute before the plane from Dulles took off. And obviously, the gate closes something like 10 minutes beforehand. They finish loading. Obviously, we weren't able to slip over. But had we not stayed that extra hour because of the oil issue on the plane coming from San Diego, we would have made the flight going to Dulles. Oh, Frontier, you're killing me. You're absolutely killing me.
So what follows next is a collection of the most interesting things that I've ever seen in an airport customer service representative center. I'm sure, and maybe larger airports during holiday travel time, there's been some pretty chaotic times, but this one was up there for a non-holiday time because there were so many passengers like myself who had just been bumped and bumped and bumped and bumped and bumped, partly because of weather in Denver, Mostly because Frontier is just terrible at operations.
And waiting in the airport at Denver for my connection from San Diego to Dulles, because the flight was late. Surprise, surprise, Frontier. Haha, should have known since it's the 4th day now. And now I'm waiting in, let's see here, see if I can flip this around. This line to go to Dulles. So we'll see what customer no service says. And still waiting in line. Excuse me. Line. Almost up in line, ready to go. Getting close. Getting close. This lady in front of me is like really pissed. I think she had a vacation or something like that. And she's telling the guy how much money she spent on it. Pretty irate. It's the lady in the red. She's mad. So now I think there's a squabble regarding the cause of the delay at the airport, which the pilot clearly said over the intercom was a result of some fuel problem. They had to have an engineer come and check it out, and he said the paperwork would be the longest part of it, which is the same exact issue. Not the fuel problem, but the paperwork issue is the same exact issue I had yesterday, which was why my flight was canceled yesterday, Thursday, and hence we're in this problem here, trying to fly on Friday. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 parties at the 4 gate agents that are trying to help us at Frontier Customer No Service. No service. It says customer service, but it's actually customer no service. Which is why I tried to fly on Tuesday. It's now Friday. And still won't be home. Thanks to Frontier. But I'm excited for this. This is going well. Let's see what we can do. What's she saying, ma'am? Lady in red's not going to talk to me.
She's right. She's absolutely right.
Dude, this guy's so nervous. This guy's legit so nervous. Like, this lady's grilling him. Let's see if this lady can help me today. My name is Brennan Fridley, coming from the recent flight, flying to Dulles ultimately. Looking to see if you can help me and square me away.
So the next available Dulles flight is not until tomorrow at 4:36 p.m.
Okay.
We have a DCA flight leaving at 7 a.m. in the morning, gets you in at 12:20 p.m.
So time out. How would you say the next flight's not till 4:30 tomorrow if you have a flight leaving at 12?
DCA. So this is
Okay,
DCA
maybe I'm not
right
familiar with what DCA
Okay,
is.
so you have Reagan and Johnson.
Okay.
You were going to IAD.
Was Reagan DCA?
So Reagan DCA.
I can't do that. I have to do IAD.
So the IAD leaving 4:36 p.m.
Okay, so 4:36 p.m. tomorrow, tracking. Okay, can I get rescheduled for that flight?
Yeah, I can reschedule that flight.
Okay, and then can I get a hotel and meal vouchers for this evening?
Hotels offer, and it was a situation coming in from Austin.
Excuse me, ma'am, there's no hotel offer? Ma'am, time out. I was originally scheduled to fly from San Diego to Dulles on Tuesday of this week. That flight was canceled. I was rescheduled for Thursday, yesterday. That flight was canceled. I was rescheduled for today. That flight was delayed so much that I didn't get into my connection here at Denver to make my Dulles connection. Now, how in the world can you not provide me any kind of hotel
So why were
for the
your
evening?
previous flights being canceled?
So Tuesday was canceled for weather. totally tracking. Can't help me out. They put me on standby for Wednesday. I was pretty frustrated. Wasn't able to get on a standby flight. Tracking, there's 18 million customers. I get it. You guys have more than 500 flights canceled at this airport. I get it. Thursday yesterday, got on the plane, sat for an hour and a half. They wound up having paperwork issues. They debagged and deboarded the entire plane, and I had to go out back to the front gate to get my bag from the carousel 4, talk to a gate agent at San Diego, where they rescheduled me for the flight today at 11:28 a.m. The flight didn't take off until 2. It didn't push back from the gate until 2. And there was an engineer who came on board. The pilot specifically said there was a fuel issue, right? The pilot said there was a fuel issue on the plane, right? Or an oil issue on the plane. We sat on the plane after we had boarded for a very long amount of time, 45 minutes, an hour. We didn't take off till 2. I checked out on my phone. And so we arrived here to Denver late, and we're not here in time to make the connection to get into Dulles. That's not my fault. I'm trying to get home. It's been Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and I can't get to Dulles.
This aircraft that came into San Diego was coming in from Austin.
Tracking.
They had to do a de-icing in Austin, so that inbound aircraft was delayed coming in. That wasn't on control of the situation. So that's why we're not able to offer a hotel.
Man, we would have been just fine. Here's why. At 4:57 today, the flight took off out of here to go to Dulles. 4:57. We were only like 15 minutes late getting in after that. Man, tracking, but I looked at the time it departed. It was 4:57 p.m. We sat on that plane waiting for a fuel or oil issue to be corrected for an hour. We took off more than 2.5 hours later than our original planned time. Had nothing to do with anything with de-icing.
Okay,
Had
but
nothing
I'm
to do with
not going to
anything
be
with that.
able to offer you a hotel. So I can either offer you a 10% discount.
No, ma'am.
Or maybe
You
can
have to give me,
contact
no, you have to give me a hotel.
And this is when it really starts to go bonkers. Kind of crazy.
Because you can't sit there and tell me, since I was flying Tuesday and got canceled, and then flying Thursday and got canceled, I'm just being objective, and then flying Friday and was so delayed, in fact, because of a fuel problem and an oil problem. It was noted by the pilot. Any one of these passengers will all affirm that the pilot said there was a fuel problem and that the paperwork would be the longest part of the delay process. Therefore, we didn't wind up taking off until 2 p.m.
And so we're still going to be going back and forth on this. I'm not able to offer you a hotel.
Ma'am, that's unacceptable. For you to not be able to offer me a hotel is unacceptable. Because what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to just chill out here in the airport this
I
evening?
can book you on a flight tomorrow morning, or I can offer you a refund. You can see what
Ma'am, you said the flight was not tomorrow morning, so you can't sit there and tell me you can book me on a flight tomorrow morning. You said it is 4:30. Ma'am, I am by IAD on the way western side of the District of Columbia Metropolitan Statistical Area. It's completely unacceptable for you to tell me you can't give a hotel. I don't understand. Why not? Ma'am, I contacted your corporate office. I sat in line here. I had a conversation for about 35 minutes. And the corporate interpreter said, I need to go talk to the Frontier representative here. And here the Frontier representative would help me. And so I'm trying to get to my destination. And this lady's freaking out over here because you people have absolutely no sympathy whatsoever for a collection of individuals who have been completely disserviced. We paid money to go from A to B at a certain time. I recognize that you can't like fix what's already happened. We've been delayed. But you have to be able to give some kind of a hotel. You can only give me a 10% discount on another flight? Why would I want a 10% discount on an airline that has completely failed to get me from A to B? That makes no sense whatsoever. I don't want a 10% discount on a hotel. I want a free hotel. If I, as a passenger, and this lady is a passenger, and these gentlemen is a passenger, and all of these people as passengers here, and you as a representative at the Frontier Customer Service Center are telling me and all these passengers that we can't have any kind of a hotel reimbursed or paid for on our behalf when it was your company that was at fault for having absolutely no ability to get us to our destination on time. That's not my fault. That's not these customers' fault. We're just here to get to our destination. So please, square us away with the hotel. Man, you have to be able to offer a hotel. How can you not offer a hotel?
Because we're not offering anybody
anybody a hotel.
How can you not offer a hotel when your company can't get a plane out on time to make a connection? And we're expected, ma'am, it is 6:05 p.m. The next flight is not until what, 4:30 tomorrow? Could you please? 4:36 p.m. tomorrow. That's close to 24 hours, 22 hours from now. I mean, what are we supposed to do for 22 hours?
To control the situation, I'm not able to offer you a hotel.
How are you not able to offer a hotel
And
when
like
it's
you
clearly
said,
the
you can
airlines?
go ahead and contact our corporate office. If you don't want it, you don't have to take it.
Ma'am, I
But am
contacted your
not
corporate
able
office.
to offer
I got
you a
right through to a
hotel.
representative.
Sir, I'm done. I'm not able
Let me
to
see if I
offer you a
can
hotel.
write a
This is
warrant
already
for
how
it.
you
That's the
do it.
same number listed online. I called this number online, and they
Okay, we're just gonna
specifically
keep
told
going
me
back
that
and
they were
forth on
unable to
this
help
same
me.
situation. I'm not able
But
to
ma'am, I'm
offer
just
you
telling
a
you,
hotel.
they specifically said they were unable to help me. This is the same number right here, the 801-401-9000 number that I just called.
So if there's
I
a
recognize that.
hotel,
And what did they say? They said go and talk with a customer service agent located at the airport. They were unable to help me. They said because it was a connecting flight, they're unable to help me. I recorded the phone call. I'll replay it after you when I'm done here. But I don't understand why you can't give me a hotel when I'm sitting here telling you your airline. Ma'am, I recognize it was an uncontrolled situation, but it's not about the controlled situation. It's about who's at fault, who's liable here. No, ma'am, it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable to not have a hotel paid for by the company this evening. Ma'am, how are you not able to? That is completely unacceptable. Ma'am, you have to be able to provide a hotel to customers like myself who are traveling from Dallas through Denver to Dulles, and because of the delay coming from San Diego to Denver that was so significant, we can't make our connection going into Dulles, and because there's not another flight until the next day at 4:30, about 22 hours later, what am I supposed to do for those 22 hours? I didn't pay money so that I could fly 22 hours later. I paid money so that I could fly last Tuesday. That didn't happen. I paid money so I could fly yesterday. That didn't happen. And then I paid money so I could fly today. And that didn't happen. It doesn't make any sense. Ma'am, it doesn't make any sense. How are you not able to offer me a hotel when your company... Ma'am, hold on. How are you not able to offer me a hotel when you told me that the company literally was unable to get me to Dallas on time, and the next available flight is not until 4:30 the next day? Can you explain that to me?
No, sir, I already explained everything.
You can't explain that.
I already explained what I had to explain to you, so I'm gonna have you step
No,
aside.
you didn't explain anything. You only told me that you weren't able to offer a hotel. And I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense for a collection of passengers who were disenfranchised by a company who was unable to get its first plane off the ground in time and therefore missed their connection to not have a hotel for the evening, ma'am. It is simple courtesy as a byproduct of a company that couldn't get its act together to get the first plane off the ground. I'm not asking for anything unreasonable. I'm not asking for a refund.
Now remember this point here. Remember this point here. This is the point where I said I don't want a refund. I'm not asking for a refund.
I'm not telling you that you need to give me, stars and every type of thing. I'm just asking for a hotel for the evening to help compensate for the 22 hours that we're here as a byproduct of your inability to get me to the place on time. Can you help me out with that, ma'am?
Sir, I already answered your question.
Can you help me out with that?
Yeah, and this is where it starts to get really tough, because this lady just didn't have anywhere to go, and the customer service representatives, they threw her off the flight and refunded her ticket. And since she didn't have a ticket to board a plane and she was in the airport terminal, the law enforcement officers gathered around her, and as you'll see in a little bit here in the video, they escort her out of the terminal. And she's just sitting here begging and pleading to have the customer service representative do something about getting her to her destination because she has nowhere else to go tonight. But they don't care. They don't care.
Control the situation. We're
Can you help me out with that, ma'am?
If you record me, I'm going to just ask you to take that off.
You're welcome to ask whatever you want. I'm telling you, I would like to be able to have a
For
hotel.
you until you turn that off.
Ma'am, I'm fully within my rights to use a personal device to record any conversation I'd like to.
Can I have the conversation?
I'm not entering your space. I'm just staying right here. I'm just asking a conversation. If you could please help me secure a hotel for the evening, since your company was unable to provide a first leg flight to this location.
Now, I felt bad for this customer service representative and the customer service reps in general. I'm confident they don't come up with policy. They're just the messengers who relay the policy of the company. But it was really unfortunate to kind of see this whole interaction across the way there. But anyway.
Can you help me, ma'am?
Can I help the next passenger?
Can you help me, ma'am? Can you help me? Excuse me, can you help me? Can you help me, ma'am? Excuse me, can anyone at the Frontier desk help me?
Can you put your phone away?
Excuse me, can anyone at the Frontier desk help me? I'm sorry, I'm apologize. Can anyone at the Frontier desk help me? I'm sorry, sir. This lady doesn't seem to be helping me at this location over here.
paper so he write a number in?
This law enforcement officer seems to be a little bit perturbed back there in the corner. But I don't know if we're gonna make any progress, folks. Okay, I tell you what.
What bank, right?
Phone going down. No recording. No recording.
I already talked to you.
I would like to know if it's possible.
Excuse me, ma'am. I need my bag. It's in DC. I need my bags.
I would like to know, ma'am, if it's possible to obtain a hotel or meal vouchers for this
The
evening.
next passenger in. There is no compensation offered. So I'm going to have you step aside so I can help the next
Excuse me,
passenger.
can I have some help getting a hotel for this evening?
Ma'am, my bag.
Excuse me, ma'am, is it possible to obtain a hotel voucher for this evening? What is this, ma'am? So, I understand that this is a discounted rate. I get that this is a discounted rate. But I'm not looking for a discounted rate because now I have to pay more money because your firm was unable to get me to this location on time and therefore not able to get me to Dulles on time. So how am I expected to have to pay money for lodging? I'm not asking for anything out of the ordinary. Excuse me, ma'am? Are you not going to help me anymore, ma'am?
Okay, can I see your warning for that?
Ma'am, will you help me secure some lodging for this evening? Ma'am, will you please help me secure some lodging for this evening? Ma'am, your airline was unable to get me to my destination on time. Would you please help me secure some lodging for this evening? Ma'am, would you help me secure some lodging for this evening? Excuse me, would anybody help secure some lodging for this evening?
Hello? My next one.
Excuse me, ma'am, would you help me secure some lodging for this evening? I am. I won't. I'll flip it around so you don't see it. Can I please get some help securing some lodging for this evening, or at least to get a flight for the next route out to Dulles, which is my original destination? You're not going to allow me that? She just shook her head. Can you help me, ma'am?
Okay, so at this point I realized that getting a hotel voucher probably not going to happen. So my new move was to just try to get on the following flight to Dulles the next day, the 4:36 p.m. flight. So from here on out, my main goal was just get the flight for tomorrow, get out of here. I'll go pay for my own hotel and see what happens.
Ma'am, I'm just looking to get some help to get to the next Dulles location. You have the ability to log onto the computer, though, and just schedule the passengers like myself who don't have the next flight.
Sir, I'm going to have you step aside so we can talk to this person.
You don't have the ability, ma'am, to schedule it.
It will be in partial.
So you can't help with the rescheduling of new flights for customers like myself that weren't able to get to their second leg of the destination. Okay. So you can't help me? Excuse me, ma'am, would you be able to help me? Excuse me, ma'am, would you be able to help me? Excuse me, sir. These ladies aren't helping me. When you're done with this passenger, would you mind if I came over to get some help from my... I'm just looking to get my next leg of the trip here to Dulles. I wasn't able to make my connection. What's that, sir? Would you be willing to help me get to my next leg of my destination to Dulles, sir? Excuse me, sir. Would you be able to help me get to my next leg of my destination to Dulles? I will. I'm just trying to help. I'm just trying to do the same thing.
Sir?
Yes, sir.
Denver, please.
Okay. Nice.
Can we speak for just a moment?
That's absolutely not a problem. All I'm looking is to do the same thing that these passengers are doing. By getting another ticket to my destination, which I wasn't able to make today.
They have advised me that they're not going to be able to help you with that today.
Okay.
And there's other people who want to get help.
So, could I ask why I'm not able to be helped today, but the rest of these passengers are
That's
able
between
to?
you and them.
Okay.
That's a civil matter at this point.
That's fair and
I don't want
understandable.
it to be anything but a civil
I understand.
matter.
I'm totally on your page.
We just don't wanna-
I'm not here to make waves or be combative at all. I'm just trying to get what these passengers are trying to get to my
You
next
seem like an
destination.
intelligent person. I'm sure you already know your best course of action is to call their customer helpline.
See, I did call the customer helpline, sir, and I said since it's a connecting flight, I wasn't able to get assistance with getting another flight into Dulles because I needed to speak with the gate agent since.
So one thing I completely forgot to mention was that before I even stepped in that big, fat, long line in front of the Frontier desk, which took a really long time to get through, I called just the online customer support number to see if I can circumvent all of this without actually having to wait in line forever, go up, talk with the desk agents. And the representative online told me that since I had a connecting flight, I would need to speak with a gate agent at the airport. So ultimately, the individuals who I talked to online wouldn't even help me basically get a follow-on flight for the next day. So I had to talk to the gate agent.
And they're unwilling to interface with me to get. I'm just looking to get another ticket to go to Dulles, which is my original
So
destination.
they're telling me that there's not one available right now that they can help you with.
Okay.
So your options are to contact someone higher up in customer service.
Okay.
File a complaint with the airline, obviously,
Okay.
to try and get a refund.
Okay.
I'm a cop. I'm not an airline help person.
Totally
I can't
understandable.
guarantee that'll work. And obviously, you have the option of trying to fly with another airline.
Yeah.
But my main concern is we can't have you standing here in the way of other people to get.
Oh,
help.
I'm not trying
Then
to.
it would rise to the level of a disturbance.
Totally not trying to be a disturbance.
You know
All
what
I'm
I'm
trying to do is the same thing the rest of these passengers are doing, sir. I'm just trying to get a ticket to my next destination.
I understand.
And I've spoken with multiple gate agents who have suggested that they won't interface with me to be able to get me that ticket to Dulles.
Right.
So this lady right here has suggested that there's a flight tomorrow at 4:36 p.m. But she at this point has been unwilling to give me a ticket to board that plane to arrive in Dulles tomorrow. That's all I'm trying to get. And I know I've seen a couple of these other customers have kind of the same dealio there where they've been able to do
So,
that.
ma'am, is there this flight at 4:30 tomorrow? Or?
4:36. He haven't even given me his boarding pass. He doesn't know we're not able to get, and that's what I've been trying to explain to him.
I have my.
Thank you. So it sounds like if you're willing to be cooperative,
Oh, I totally am. But
participative,
Right.
perhaps she can help
Right.
you.
Totally
Do you have your
understandable.
boarding pass?
I don't have it on me. I do have my ID. I do have my ID.
Right.
I do have my bag slip, and I have my ID. That's all I have.
Why don't you have your boarding pass if you don't mind my asking?
That's a good question. Perhaps I misplaced it, but I do have my ID and I have my bag slip for my bag.
Okay.
So I've got both.
So
those.
she said that she's going to try and help you if you're patient until this young lady is done.
Okay, I'll wait till this young
I
lady's
don't
done.
know if they can help or not without the boarding pass, but again,
Okay, it's
not my
understandable.
deal. That's
Yep.
between you and the
Don't
airlines.
expect it to be your deal, sir.
So I would expect to be calm, cooperative, not cause a stink, and give her a chance to help you.
I'm all on board, sir.
If that doesn't work, try booking with another airline. I always tell people, if you really want to get even or you feel like you've been done dirty, the absolute best thing you can do is tell all your friends and spend your
Well,
money
I'm not looking
elsewhere,
at getting even or getting dirty. I just want to be able to get to my ultimate destination, and I
gotcha.
can't do that if I can't interface with a service, with a gate service agent like these individuals over here at the Frontier Customer Service Center.
Sure.
So that's all I'm trying to do.
Okay, so give her a try.
Yep.
If that doesn't work, I'd book with another airline if I were you.
Okay, understandable.
Okay?
Thank you, sir. I do appreciate
Thanks
your
for
time.
your patience. I appreciate your speaking with me.
You bet. You bet.
I'm
No
gonna hang
worries.
out here a few minutes, make sure everything goes smooth.
Sounds good.
And then hopefully we'll all be out of here, okay?
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So all he cares about is just resolving this whole thing. He just wants to get me out of there. He wants to get the rest of the customers out of there. He wants to get the customer service representatives out. He's just a diffuser. Doesn't want the problems to persist. Doesn't want any disturbances. Just get out of here.
Oh, I do have my plane ticket. Right there, seat 15F. Going from Denver to IAD. That's my name, Brennan Fridley. That's my name. Let's see if I can get one. Okay, could I get some assistance with scheduling the next plane ticket?
I already did. You're still recording, so like I said.
I know, but ma'am, I've seen multiple customers who have received tickets for the follow-on flight.
So my customer service rep, she just saw that I had that conversation with a law enforcement officer, that I was willing to just get the ticket for the following day's flight at 4:36, that I would just get it and get out of there. She saw all of that. And she interfaced in there, telling the officer what time the flight was, all that kind of stuff. She was going to help me if I could provide my boarding pass. And, and then as soon as the officer steps away, nada, nothing.
Okay. I know you've been talking with me for the last 15 minutes. But I've seen, here's what I've seen. I've seen multiple tickets handed out for follow-on flights. I'm wondering if you can help me with that. I did contact customer relations and they told me to come here. Are you going to give this lady a ticket right here for her follow-on destination flight? May I ask if you're going to give this lady a ticket?
You need a gate tag, so please come see me at the podium. Thank you.
Excuse me, ma'am, I can see that you just booked her for IAD. Could I get some help with that after she's done?
We don't have any kind of hotel vouchers, but I can give you this discounted rate for hotel.
Excuse me, ma'am, I just saw that you booked her for IAD tomorrow. Could I get some assistance in the same manner?
Next guest.
Do you care if you, can you just book me real quick and I'll step out of your way? Can you just book me real quick and I'll step out of your way? You're not going to book me?
I will not if you continue recording.
Okay, if I turn off the recording, would you be
Stop
willing?
recording me, no. I asked you when you were over there, you continued on to try to sneak around and...
No, ma'am, I've been in this spot the whole time.
Please stop recording.
I haven't moved from this lady's desk right here the whole time.
You started off over here.
I swear to goodness, on my mother's life, as a principled man, I'm telling you, I've stood in this location right behind this lady's desk the entire time. I know the lady in the red earlier had come down and was pretty upset, but I'm just looking to get a connection through tomorrow. That's all I'm looking to do. Excuse me, ma'am, would you be willing to book me? Excuse me, sir, do you happen to work for Frontier? Would you be willing to help book me? I'm just looking to get a flight out tomorrow for the second leg. Okay. Okay, that's all right. Thank you, sir. That's all right. Thank you. Excuse me, ma'am, would you be willing to help me?
This is your boarding pass.
Excuse me, ma'am, would you be willing to help me? They keep saying they're willing to help the next guest in line, but they're not helping me. And so I'm not going to stand in front of these people because I don't want to disenfranchise the other customers, because that wouldn't be right. Ma'am, if I stop recording, would you... If I stop recording, will you just print me a ticket for tomorrow, and I'll just step out of your hair, and I'll be right out? Oops, excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am, if you could just print me a ticket, I'll just step away and be out of your hair. Would you be willing to agree to that? Excuse me, ma'am, if you could just print me a ticket for tomorrow, I could step out of your way. I'd help you out. Nope. Okay, that's not gonna happen either.
So what are we looking at PCA? And so you just buy one?
So I did. I purchased a ticket to go to Dulles. I already purchased one. Well, I've already purchased a ticket to go to Dulles.
Why don't you just purchase another one and try to get it?
Yeah, that's understandable, but I don't want to have to pay twice for a single ticket to Dulles. Oh, you did? Okay. See, I'm not willing to take that chance that it might not get reimbursed. I've already had a considerably interesting customer service experience so far. I'm just looking to get, I've seen a number of passengers who've already been booked for tomorrow's flight. I'm just looking to get the same thing.
So at this point, I watched as one of the customer service representatives, they went around, they talked with the 3 law enforcement officers who were behind me. And I couldn't really hear what she was saying or what they were saying back to her. I heard more what they were saying back to her. But at one point I heard Officer Ashcroft or one of the other officers say, or Ashcroft or whatever his name is, they said something to the effect of, you know, he's not being a disturbance, he's not combative, I can't do anything at this point. And so they went and they talked for a little while longer, and again I couldn't hear exactly what she was saying, but that's when she came back over and completely canceled my ticket and refunded my ticket. Mind you, I didn't want my ticket refunded, I just wanted to get to the follow-on airport, or to the follow-on flight the next day at 4:36. But if I don't have a ticket because my ticket's refunded, then I don't have any quote-unquote legal standing to actually be in the terminal. So it was at that point that all the officers came around me. And they said, look, it's time to go. And they didn't grab me or anything like that. They just kind of huddled and kind of like closed in around me. And Officer Ashcraft said, hey, it's time to go. And then his other buddy, the little smaller guy who was so perturbed, he was done. He said, it's time to go before I arrest you. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna comply. I'm not gonna be too crazy. I'm gonna get on out of here. So I wasn't able to haggle or try to have a conversation with the customer service rep as to why she refunded my ticket and left me stranded in Denver without a ticket to Dulles and without a hotel. But anyway, that's how that ended. And I had to go out to the baggage terminal.
So I was just instructed by the law enforcement officer that I had to go to the outside of the gate. Since I've been refunded for my ticket, he wouldn't allow me to go to another airline on this side of TSA and ask for a ticket. So he told me I need to go out to the front, and I'm not allowed to actually stay on this side of the TSA security checkpoint to look for a ticket. So I'm gonna go out to carousel, excuse me, I'm gonna go out to carousel 3, and I'm hopefully going to be able to get another ticket from another airline to get to my desired location. So we'll see what happens. So I just want to let you know, we got 3 law enforcement officers over here. They're on their bikes, still making sure that I go out. I'm going to completely comply with everything that they've asked of me. I'm going to go ahead and move out. But there's the 3 of them. He's pointing at the train because I got to go on the train. So. Thanks, guys. Those are the guys that helped me out. Oh, this is the train. Gotta wait till the next one? Yeah? We're all stuffed in here. There's the law enforcement officers making sure I got on board the train there. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hi guys.
Clear and hold on for departure to terminus.
The one law enforcement officer is communicating on his radio now. They have both of them on the bikes there, so I think they're out. That's it, guys.
In the end, I think the thing that frustrates me the most is when organizations refuse to treat people properly. When they've maligned a collection of individuals or done wrong by a group of people, and there's just no effort made to fix it or remedy the situation as best as possible, providing meal vouchers, providing hotel vouchers, kicking customers out of the airport terminal by refunding their ticket, kind of stranding them halfway in between their origination in San Diego and their final destination in Dulles near DC. It's just rough to see, and I hate that. Well, that's about it. I guess at the end of the day, the lesson learned is if you have to travel by airline, choose an airline that's not Frontier. That's the lesson here. Don't fly Frontier. Take care, my friends.